Hello techies. Welcome to our brand new video series focused on helping you get the most of your experiences in life. Before we start the video, let's know about Upptalk. Upptalk is a live, interactive platform for software training, furnishing robust personalities who could take on universal business platforms.
So what is the constraint? Only the organization where you have the role. Absolutely. Only the organizations where you have the role. Remember this particular diagram. This diagram is the key to understanding security. You see, the roles are always associated with an organization. So if it is a constraint role, that means you only have access to the organization where you have been given the role. What is the most common example of this kind of a role-based security group? Give me an example of a role-based security group or a role. HR partner. HR partner. Yes. What else? The most common one, the one that impacts our life as a worker manager. Manager is a very common example of a role-based security group. So always remember it in this way. A manager is a constrained role-based security group. Now when we say that, so what is the constraint of the manager? The manager has access to only the workers that he or she manages. Isn't it? I give this example repeatedly. Like, can a manager of IT department give a promotion to a worker in the sales department? No. The answer is no. Why not? Because he or she is not the manager of the sales department. They don't have access. So they are constrained by their role assignment. They will only have the access in the organization where they have the role. Understood? Please. This is very important point. The role-based security group constrained type of a security group will always have the access to only the organization where they have the role, not in any other organizations. Okay. Now what is the typical behavior that we saw for, especially role-based security groups and inheritance? What is the typical behavior that we saw? And we also saw that when we created the security group, what is the inheritance option by default? The role is inherited to the subordinate organizations. Unassigned. Yeah. Current organization. Unassigned subordinates. And unassigned subordinates. Yes, that's the keyword, unassigned subordinates. Can you tell me what are the other options that we have for that inheritance? We have 3 other options. The first one applies to current organization only. And current organizations only. So no inheritance right. If you say current organizations only, that means no inheritance. Doesn't matter. If the subordinate has something assigned, not assigned, doesn't matter. It will only be assigned to the organization where you are assigning the role, right? It will not be inherited if you choose that option. Yes. And then we have the default option, current organization and unassigned subordinates. . Right. What are the other 2 options? The forceful one, forcefully inherited. To apply it to the current organization and all subordinates. Current, yeah, we will not use the word forcefully, but it will say yes. That's what actually happens. But we will not say it. We will say current organization and all subordinates. It will be inherited down to all the subordinates. If there is something already assigned at the subordinate level, it will override that. Right. With the current assignment. Yes. And what was the last option? Number of levels. I don't know. Like, if there are, is that right? 2 or 2 levels. 2 or 2 levels. Yes. So current organization and subordinates to a level. Right. And what level? So you can define. Like it's a 2, 3, 4. You can define a number. Like, to what level it will be inherited. Absolutely. So that was in a role-based security group. Everybody clear about how we assign a worker to a role-based security group? That is very important. It is assigned by virtue of the position, and we assign the worker to the role. Right. We assign the worker to the role in an organization. Sorry, not the worker, ideally. We assign the position to the role. Right. And the role is linked to a security group. So in that way, the worker gets access to certain things. And it is constrained. So it only has. His level of influence is only restricted to the organization where they have the role. We understood this. Okay. And let me also ask you another question. Oh, I forgot the question. Sorry, I will ask you when I remember it again. So yeah, this was about role-based security groups. And what was the best practice that we follow in naming the role and the security group? What's the best practice that we follow? Regarding the naming, it should use the same name. Same name. Right. We should try to keep the same name for both the role and the security group. That reduces the confusion. That reduces a lot of confusion. Otherwise, if you you don't have to. You don't have to give the same name. You may choose some other names as well. But if you give the same name, it helps us to correlate the two things in a better manner. Of course. So now let's quickly revise this. Worker is tied to a job or a position. Job or position is given to the assignable role. Assignable role is tied to organizations. Right. So in this way, indirectly, the worker gets access to certain permissions. One more question. Typical interview question. After you make changes to a security group, will it immediately take effect? No, we have to activate it. We need to activate it. We need to activate that. What was the task for that? Activate policy changes. Activate policy changes. Activate pending security policy. There are 2 tasks for activate. So if you say activate, it will give you only 2 options, so it is easy to just click on it and go to the right task. But just for your interview perspective, when they ask you the name of the task, some people are very particular about the accuracy of your answer. So they will say, okay, what is the exact name? What is the exact name? So there you have to say it is activate pending security policy changes. Okay, right?
Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us at sales@upptalk.com.